All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Max Monday Mojo, the show where all we do is talk about motivation and how do you get through life? How do you get through buying a home? How do you just stay motivated to do the best you possibly can in this life that we were blessed with? You see, I have somebody else on the show today. Actually out in Texas, Dallas, Texas, at the Gaylord Texan, enjoying a beautiful Monday here, serving clients, and been out here for a conference, and somebody showed up on my screen. Just so happens to be my uncle, Mr. Alfonso Freeman, actor extraordinaire, and just so happens to be the son of a great actor with the same last name by the name of Freeman. So he's going to just talk to us a little bit today about, what's motivated him in life, coming from, a celebrity dad, and what's motivated him to keep rocking and rolling in this life. So talk to us a little bit, huh?
Well, okay. Well, just to kind of give a little bit of backstory, I was like a lot of other people, doing a workaday job. I was in computers, working in an aerospace company. The economy for defense spending collapsed when the Soviet Union collapsed, and I was laid off my job. And I had an immediate thought after that. The first one was, do I want to fight for this job? Because I was probably the one who had the highest level of training. And when I realized, and I asked myself the question, do I really want this? And I thought, it has to really matter for it to really matter. And it didn't matter. And so I left. And that was November 4th, 1992. November 5th, I got up, thinking about, okay, what's next? And I looked in the mirror. Well, first I thought about my dad, and I thought about how he made it. He's been chasing it for a long time, but he didn't get his first acting job until he was 30. First paying acting job until he was 30. And, I thought, well, if he made it late in life, so can I. And so I looked in the mirror and I said, you're an actor. Just like that. You're an actor. And that's what it was. And I learned since then from there that, you've heard in religious circles where they talk about confession and all these different things. And without getting to the religious thing, there is something to confession that comes from your real core, not something that you're trying to gin up by trying to just say it over and over again. But right. The real you is what the universe responds to. And things just started miraculously, for lack of a better way of saying it, falling into place. And my first job was on the Shawshank Redemption. I was also my dad's assistant on there. And then after that, I thought I was just going to keep going. It didn't work like that because I didn't have a dad who was kind of into that kind of nepotism. So I had to hustle. And
so he didn't just give you everything like a lot of people would think.
No, dude. I had since I've been an actor, and along the way I've had people, ask me about my dad, about my career. Famous people, right, who, when they found out who my dad was, would say, man, if that was my dad, I would. These are famous people who have the career I wanted to have. If right. That was my dad, I would so and so. I could name names. I won't, but name right. names. And I'm thinking, don't you know how this works? Right. You're not just giving away jobs because you're related to somebody. I had to hustle, and I didn't get the career that I wanted in terms of big stardom, but I had a career unlike a lot of other actors where right. I've been able to make a living. And that counts for something. To be able to make a living as an actor in a world where actors are constantly being rejected. Right. I made most of it in commercials and voiceover, but hey, good money.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm still in the hunt.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, with the voiceovers and all that stuff that's going on, and actually with this whole COVID thing, is like, how do you keep focused to keep moving forward? Because I know everything is kind of slowed down a bit, kind of talk on that a little bit. What's that like right now in the industry?
Well, as you know, the industry has taken a hit. Everybody's had to shut down. Everybody's had to stop. Productions had to try to figure out how to keep their crews and the stars and the actors safe.
Right.
So, they have these protocols in place that they're working, and they seem to be working. Anybody who's infected, basically they send them home, and
Really?
get quarantined. Yeah. Some actors are like, well, call me when you guys figure it all out,
Right.
not wanting to put themselves on the line for anything. As for me, I've been on hiatus since moving to South Carolina.
Okay.
And the move was actually a career move, but it was also a personal move to get
Right.
my own soul together. Because there's one thing to be an actor; it's another thing to be a successful actor without distractions. And I had way too many distractions before I got here, and
Right.
now I don't. And so the hunt's going to be a little easier for me because I won't have all those distractions that I had. But I'm still subject to the realities on the ground.
Right.
There's a virus out there, but there's a lot of work too. There are tons where there used to be only a few scripted shows based on the three major networks. We
Right.
have networks on top of networks on top of networks. So we have scripted shows for every
Yeah.
day under the sun. And I have no doubt that I'll be out there getting that work in the coming year.
That's what I was wondering with all these streaming channels and all this stuff that are making their own movies. Netflix makes their own originals, and now you got Prime and all these. I mean, that must open the doors for a lot more, actors to stay out there and stay busy.
Yeah, it does. In the acting universe, we're all having to endure change. We're the change of demographics that we fit into. For example, when I first started, I was 32. I'm 60 now, 61 now, and it's very interesting because a lot of my cohorts who came along with me, I see at auditions and everything. All of us are kind of taking note of the fact that there are a lot more people in our age group who didn't come along with us. They just kind of showed up.
Right.
And the only thing I can think of is they made a change in their career path. They retired early, decided to do something different. That's what's happening now. So there are a lot of new faces. You've seen them on TV. You've seen them in commercials. And so you could say that there's more competition, but there's work. And I've never, well, since I've become mature enough to understand it, there's enough to go around for everybody. So while there's competition, if you stay in the game, you will get work. And that's how I function in this business.
Yeah. Well, see, on another side that people don't know is that, you have a second job and a second hobby, and that's kind of like refurbishing houses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
well,
how's that?
Let me
How's
qualify that because the first house I was refurbishing and still working on is the house I live in.
Right.
But we have a couple of rental properties, and we're shifting gears too.
Right.
Because we're in this age group, and to your viewers who some are older and still thinking about either home buying or
right.
Maybe even shifting over to downsizing, things like that, it's still a real thing. And the holy grail once you get to a certain age is to try to be debt free as much as you can, or
Right.
at least be smart when you get in. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And so that I'm learning that stuff right now. What kinds of debts, what kinds of loans, what kinds of things that will be very helpful as we enter this phase of life.
So you're still learning about it at 61. That's
Still
what
learning about it.
I tell people that all the time. You're always learning about, as I get into, talking to people about not just being debt free, but acquiring wealth through real estate and things like that. I mean, no matter who you are, I'm sure even your dad is still, acquiring wealth through maybe some real estate and things like that.
Yeah, he's doing real estate. He's doing the stock market. He's been advising me because he's making certain moves and everything. His workload has gotten to be lesser, so he's looking at other forms of income. People think because you make all this money that you're just rolling it, you're swimming in it all the time. No.
Right.
One thing my dad always told me is that no matter what kind of money you're making, you're living right up to the top of that.
Right.
And it takes a very, very talented, focused individual to be able to have, let's say, $1 million and decide to live on 500,000.
Right.
That's a lot of discipline. And, but if you can't achieve that, even if you're living up to 80% of it. It's still a lot. And if something happens to your income, you're out. You're homeless. You're hand to mouth at that point.
Right.
So you have to have other streams of income. You have to think on your feet in this business. Like your business, when you're a self-starter, you have to live within your means.
Right.
You know that there's this overhead that you need to have to get you through, to pay your bills, to take care of your life, and to grow your business. And so you're not inclined to be frivolous and say, oh, wow, I made a grip load of money. Let me just go out there and buy my favorite car. No, you'll probably stay in that Toyota for a minute.
Right.
So
stay
that you can grow your business.
Exactly. Grow your business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and lastly, really, I know a lot of people always, they ask me this about what motivates me, but what motivates you in life? What's your number one? What's your why? I always talk to people about what's your why? What's your real why?
I'm going to tell you the truth. That's actually kind of a difficult answer because it's probably twofold. One is my wife, your auntie. Just being with her has really changed the trajectory of my life in terms of how I think, what I prioritize, and just what's important. So that leads to the next thing, which is my inner engine, my soul. That is my motivator. I want to live what I believe to be my best life without the fear of anything, whether it's dying or poverty or anything. And that does not mean that things aren't out there. We're in COVID land right now. We're emerging from a very tough election. But I want to have that inner peace that I'm doing the best that I can day to day. It's the thing that gets me up in the morning. It's the thing that makes me go to sleep at night. I check in with my creator at night. I'm thankful. I get up in the morning. I go to bed at night. And I always realize I might not get up the next day. So it's better to be grateful for the day I just had. And that's pretty much how I do it.
Yeah. Well, man, Unc, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a busy day. Many things you got to get done out there. Take care of my auntie. But I appreciate you coming on and sharing with people because every little bit counts. I mean, people think that, just because you're over here, that you don't deal with the day-to-days that everybody else does, and the motivation and the mental and the attracting things from the universe that you put out into the universe. They think it just falls on your plate and everything's perfect. And
May I say one thing to that? Right now with COVID-19, with the economy being what it is, with a divided country and everything, I would like to think that more people understand, as we're seeing, for example, celebrities being interviewed from their homes now. You're actually looking inside celebrities' homes, and all of a sudden, these people are human. They're not just big stars anymore. They're people just as vulnerable as you and I. And I'm hoping that people are taking the moment to look at that and say that this is all of us, and our best play is to be the best human that we can be. Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect segue to the end of Mack's Monday Mojo. So, hey, again, I appreciate you, and I'll be talking to you soon. I think I'm gonna be out there in a few weeks. So,
look forward to seeing you, man. Look forward to seeing you. Hey, text me when you get a chance today. I'm gonna make sure you get Shantae's number too.
Okay, I will. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, man. See you.
Bye-bye.